Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. We are going to continue on with Misinformation Cronies, Part 5.1, Return of the Ignorance. First up, we will be going over a stream that was done by LB in regards to the Marvon McCrae situation. If you would like to see the full video, as I did piece out quite a bit of it, it is on her channel LB from August 8th. I originally did this video with the voiceover like 3 or 4 days ago, but due to things that I have learned and information with proof that has came out over the last few days, my opinion changed on a few things. So I have came back in and revamped a few of my commentary because my opinion has constantly been changing throughout this case. As of a couple days ago, if you would have asked me if I thought Elle had information of what was going on behind the scenes between the other creators and the family, I would have probably answered yes. I would have assumed that any creator willing to risk their reputation would have absolutely gotten this information from the other creators or the family themselves. However, now hearing Elle say that she has never spoke to the family directly, a lot of things are making more sense. Again, I don't know any of these creators personally, so none of this is a personal thing for me. I'm looking at this purely based off facts as we have found them out. And unfortunately, most of the facts we found out way after the fact, and they should have been the very first things we learned. And unfortunately, I don't feel like we're any closer to a full answer in this story than we were 2 weeks ago. As things continue to come out and people now have decided to just pull away, I'm like, what? The assumption that people have that because these other exclusive creators that started this with the family have moved on from this topic now, that the rest of us should just move on and stop talking about it. Everybody should be satisfied, even though refunds have been lied about, everything has been lied about from day one and we're still being lied to. We're just supposed to move on and act like sunshine and rainbows, right? Everybody want to hold hands since we're all good. We're all just forgiving and forgetting and moving on, right? Stuart Smalley says, you're good enough. You're smart enough. Gosh dang it. He will like me. Oh, sorry. We're doing L, not Justin. I forgot. Sorry. Let's get into it.
Kind of told myself as far as with the Dre McCrae, and I know that Justin and Molly, they are starting to cover other stories as well, just because there's not a lot happening in this case.
Y'all do realize that there hasn't been anything happening in this case for quite some time. It's just been drug out over and over and over and over again, and it never needed to get here anyways.
The dad filed for full custody, or he's filing for custody. We don't know exactly what he's filing for. All we know is he's filing for some sort of custody agreement. We don't know if it's full custody. We don't know if it's 50-50. We don't really know what he's doing, but he did file. That court date was set for August 3rd. He got pushed back to October.
I wanted to insert that part because that is correct information. To my knowledge, the court date did get moved to October. I don't really cover much about the children, but that is pertinent information that people have asked, and that is truthful.
And then I know that Molly still talks to Miss Letitia. I know that she talks to Miss Wynette, and they have not abandoned nobody. They did not quit speaking to us. I personally never spoke to Miss Letitia outside of on a live stream when she would call in, and I would say, "Hey, Miss Letitia," or like when Marvon Senior came for like a little bit of an interview, answer questions, and I asked him some questions. Other than that, I've never spoke to him personally. I think Justin has their number, and I think Justin and Molly, they talk to them, and they still are good with them.
Before, I thought this was probably BS, but now, after seeing all the text messages from Letitia and others, I believe 100% that Elle has had no communication with the family. And I also believe that that was at the discretion of the other exclusive creators that no contact was made.
I know there's some rumors going around that the admins for the Justice for Vaughn page, that they've jumped ship and abandoned the calls, and that's not happened. They've just gotten overwhelmed with things that they've had to. They are just how I don't want to say they are just housewives and make it seem like that's not something of importance, because it is. What I mean though is, you know, they don't have jobs to where they're being paid to be on Facebook all day long to answer messages and filter through the comments that are bullying, because people, they have this page to where they have, you know, thousands of people on this page leaving comments all the time, and some of them are comments that need to be removed, so they have to go through everything, and they're getting messages, they're getting bombarded. It's not a bad thing. I'm not saying it like it's a bad thing, like, oh, they're just housewives, because that's what I was about to say, like, these are just housewives, but it's not meant like in a negative way. It's just their job is not to do this. They're not being paid to run this page, and it got to where they were having to spend a lot of time on that page trying to filter through the messages, the comments. So they didn't expect it to blow up and it's overwhelming. Exactly. They just kind of shut it down for a little bit. I mean, I can still see the page. I think the last time I went, I can still see it. You just can't comment at the end of ship type of situation. It wasn't like, oh, the admins realized that this is a fraud and they just abandoned it. I think if the admins thought something like that, they would make a post and say, hey, listen, it's come to our attention, XYZ.
And as of last night, you can read the admin and the creator of the group's own words of why she shut the groups down and left. It wasn't because they just needed a break. The creator and the main admin, yes, there are others, had been asking for transparency from the start. They started this group with great intentions to try and help a family see their son, is what they thought they were doing. Yet they couldn't even get straight answers from the family or these creators. It was always something else coming up, always drama, something always overshadowed anything being asked about transparency. And yes, the Justice for Vaughn group is still up. It does have admins. The couple that were left after the creator did part ways, they are still there, holding on for dear life.
And they gave the reasons for why they put it on hold. They haven't shut it down. They're putting it on hold. And they gave the reasons why. It's overwhelming. Everything is just turned into, any little thing that's done is turned into, it's being done for the wrong reasons. And that sucks. And it's sad.
It actually is really tragic. 100%. It is absolute tragedy that this story has turned out the way it has. I 100% agree with that.
Literally still talks to Miss Letitia. They still talk. Everything is good with them. I think Miss Letitia was going to try to go see Marvin this past weekend, but then she got called for a double, I think.
This is where I start realizing that Elle is on a need-to-know basis by these other exclusive creators and or the family. I'm starting to really realize that Elle was barely told anything.
Only way we're going to get updates is if Dre decides, you know what, I have nothing to hide. I'm coming back out there and I'm going to give updates on my husband, because I know there's followers out there that wants to know how he's doing. So for them, I'm going to do it. Or when mom and dad go visit and we don't know when they're going to go visit.
Anybody who has watched Dre for any amount of time should know beyond a shadow of a doubt that she's not done yet. She might be quiet right now, but she ain't done yet. And anybody that thinks that's crazy.
Yeah, Molly spoke to one of the admins the other night. I mean, it's a sad thing. And I can tell you personally, I don't think anything about this is a scam. If I saw some proof that it was, I would immediately.
I have to say something here because this kind of irks me a little bit. But me and others tried to bring this to LB's attention multiple times. I got blocked on numerous accounts trying to bring this to their attention that there was something wrong here.
My reasonings for doing this have been for Vaughn, for the situation, because I feel for him. I never really pushed a GoFundMe or, I never really pushed.
No, the YouTube creators didn't push the GoFundMe. They pushed the Cash App, the PayPal, the Zelle, the Venmo, those payment apps, the ones that are almost impossible to get a refund from.
Agree to do that. I think that's wonderful that people find it in their hearts. Like, hey, this is, I know they're struggling. There was, lawyers involved in this. They're going to go visit. They're going to need somewhere to stay. It's going to be gas. So I want to help out. I think that's awesome that people, do that. And I think everyone that does it, they do it because they have faith that what we're being told is the truth. They have faith. And that's why I cover this. I have faith that what we're being told is the truth. If something comes out and it's not what we've been told, I will say, hey, it looks like I was wrong.
Again, this is just my opinion, but I think you have a bunch of creators who are used to covering reality TV. Reality TV and cases like this are two separate worlds. This type of case has to be based off facts only. And if you don't have the facts of the case, you have to go find those before you report on them. You cannot trust another creator to provide you with factual information. You have to do that yourself, and nobody did that in this case. I think there's an expectation that goes with working with other creators that what they are providing you is factual information. Yet, I think that's a problem because as we're seeing, I don't even know if the other creators know the facts of this case that they've been covering. But that also goes back to reality TV versus real life are two separate, entirely different segments. Big leaps here.
And it doesn't make you a bad person. For all these people that's like, it's a scam and these YouTubers are falling for it. If that was the case, we would not be bad people for believing that people really needed help. You know what I'm saying? And
First of all, I don't think anybody's a bad person for falling for a scam. That's how scams happen. But I think that when people are providing you factual information and you ignore it,
in my mind, people that just jump to the conclusion that it's a scam, it's because they aren't like soft-hearted people and the type of people that have a lot of empathy for other people, and they are those type of people that always are side-eyed. You know what I'm saying? Like every little thing, they're like, what's your motive? And it's because they have motives. You know what I'm saying?
my motive from day one has been to tell Marvan's story truthfully. That's been my only motive the entire time for any coverage in this case.
And I'm not saying this is the case, you guys, because I don't think it is. But let's just say hypothetical, right? Somehow we find out that this, and I hate to even say this because I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, especially Miss Letitia's. I think her feelings have been hurt enough. But hypothetical, and I don't think this, but let's just say, and Miss Letitia, if you watch this, I'm not saying this, I'm just saying hypothetical, just to get people to kind of understand. Okay, me and Molly and Justin, we've been doing these videos covering the situation, really pushing for Vaughn, pushing for his parents. Just say, if there's a soldier in need, there's helpers. It's hypothetical, okay? Say we've done all this work trying to help her, and just say somehow we find out that she blew all this money on XYZ, and that she only went and seen Vaughn once, and she never goes back and see him, and she never hired a lawyer, and none of that. And they're living the high life on all the money that was sent to them. Say we find that out. I would be devastated that someone done that.
But at what point do you start paying attention to the information around you and saying something isn't making sense? Maybe we should slow down and actually make sure we have gathered all the facts and we're basing our opinions off these facts. Did you think about slowing down ever and taking a breath and maybe looking at it?
Of Molly's followers, of Molly, of Justin's followers, of Justin, of me, of my followers, I would be devastated. I would apologize that happened. And I would say, well, I believed someone and I was wrong. And that's all I could do. And I wouldn't be upset that people were mad. Well, dang, I believed her and I donated. I think people would have a right to be upset by that.
I want to be very clear when I say that I don't think that all creators involved in this are as innocent as some are trying to put off. There is a lot more going on behind the scenes with the family and the creators and decisions that were made than a lot of people are obviously aware
So
of.
people that question before donating don't have empathy. Come on now. No, that's not what I'm saying. No, that's not what I'm saying. It's okay to question like, what's going on here? But if you are looking at me and Molly and Justin and saying that we're doing this for any reason other than why we're doing it, I feel like you are that type of person that can't see that we're doing this for the right reasons because maybe you don't do things for the right reasons.
Again, I get what she's trying to do here, but it's not making sense because I'm not monetized. I have only had one mission in this entire thing, and that's to tell the truth and to tell Marvan's story. That's it.
I mean, usually when I hear something, there's always that little voice in the back of your head saying, well, what if? But the majority is like, oh my gosh, this is a sad situation, and more than likely this is true. I think everyone has that voice of what if. Yeah, and they'll have to answer for that if that happened. I mean, here's the thing: if something comes out that was a scam, I think you can file like.
I also want to remind people that we didn't make up that refunds were approved out of nowhere. Letitia and Molly went live and said that if people wanted a refund, they could ask for one. Refunds were stated that they had been given, that she had done all of them, yet nobody has gotten a refund to this point. Not a single person, except off
As far as I know,
GoFundMe.
she's been once. I think she was gonna go back this weekend, but she had to work a double. She got called in for work.
This is where I start to really question things again because Letitia is obviously telling these creators that she has intentions of going back and forth from Arizona to Georgia, but how is that even feasible? Do they have a standing agreement that she can go see Marvon whenever?
I think people have the right to know if she has an attorney. She did, I know that Miss Letitia said that one of the reasons why she kind of needed help financially was because she needed a lawyer, because at first she was being denied access. And actually, Dre talks about this as well, about how the reason she turned Marvin Sr. down is because she thought it was Dre's mom. So when Marvin Sr. went with his wife, Miss Wynette, she thought Miss Wynette was Miss Letitia. So that's why she said, no, 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 no. I don't think she should tell who her lawyer is. If she wanted to kind of put some people at ease, she could say, yes, I do have a lawyer. I don't really know how you would prove that without naming him, and I don't think naming him would be smart, just because you're going to have people probably blow his phones up doing God knows what.
Unfortunately, as you guys know, the attorney's name did get released, and I'm sure the attorney's phone number did get blown up, which I do not agree with either. But I think it could have been easily solved by providing the retainer agreement, crossing out any personal identification information, and just that receipt would have been sufficient for so many.
Videos about Marvin are limited ads, so you're not going to make a whole lot off of them. And really, yeah, you'll get super chats, but that's something that you can't foresee. Like, oh, let me jump on this Marvin McCray story because I'm going to get so many super chats. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know. You can't see that.
Again, y'all, I'm not a monetized channel, so I don't know how all that works. I have no idea about limited ads and so on and so forth. I never got into this for any money or the allure of any money. I didn't even get into this to come to YouTube for a channel.
Yeah, if you question, honestly, this is what I would have to say. If there's something, a bigger part of you that's like something doesn't sit well, I'm not so sure. I probably wouldn't donate. Because it may even come out that we never know for sure. We never know. Do I believe that she is scamming us? I just don't. You guys, I haven't seen the evidence that she's scamming us. And what I am seeing is coming from someone who literally makes things look legit. She literally, I mean, she almost said.
Right here, I'm going to agree with her again. I don't know if we will ever get 100% truth in this case. Every time I feel like we're getting closer and one step closer to the actual truth coming out, we get further away because something else is brought up that one of the family members or a creator did.
When I see something from someone more credible that I can actually believe and it actually shows me proof, then I'll say, okay, well, things aren't sounding too right. But when it comes from somebody that literally has a history of twisting things and making them look legit, even I've seen her do it to me, then I'm like, no, I'm gonna need some more hard evidence.
I have reached out to numerous of these creators. I have reached out many times, multiple different ways, trying to get their attention. Also, by starting with, I'm not KJ or associated with KJ. But there's some problems I think we all need to look at, and I want to share those with you. I got blocked, ignored, everything else. I've never been associated with KJ. Yes, we share each other's stuff because we're both covering similar things. Doesn't mean we have any association. I've been very clear on that.
So I feel like when I donated the money that I donated to them, I sent it believing that it was because she needed it. If something else comes out, it'll just kind of be like well, I did it at the time thinking I was doing the right thing. It's a shame that she did that with the money that was sent to her,
I think everyone donated with good intentions, but things started not making sense pretty quick into this, that things were not adding up. People had questions. They still do, and rightfully so.
I believe Molly said last night, like she saw receipts for a lawyer. I can't remember exactly what she said live. It's on members now. Gotcha. I would believe probably more than likely because Miss Letitia does really like Molly. She trusts Molly. I believe if Miss Letitia was going to show the proof to anybody, it would be Molly.
This goes back to having that false trust with creator and followers. Followers oftentimes trust these creators endlessly and will believe everything they say without researching the facts for themselves because they trust these people. Why would this person lie to them, right?
No matter the people pushing it could also be held responsible. What do you mean? I don't know how, because I don't push for people to donate. When I've done live streams, I put it up there because people ask, hey, can you put their Cash App up there? So I do, but I don't push for people to donate. And I don't know, even like Molly, she does. She's like, hey, if you can, please help this family. I don't know how she would be held responsible when she doesn't even know. You know what I'm saying? She's also out of the good. I've never heard of someone being held responsible because they was a voice for a fundraiser and for a family that used a fundraiser as a scam when the other person didn't know. People may try to say that we're going to get in some type of trouble and that YouTubers out there covering the story and that was really on their side are going to get in some sort of criminal trouble, but that just doesn't make sense. What? For what? How could we be charged for something when we didn't do anything?
I think it also needs to be mentioned that LB's involvement in this case is much different than that of Molly's. The creator family relationship is obviously extremely different. Therefore, information that was given from creator to family and vice versa has been extensively different.
I don't see how anyone can excuse Dre's behavior either. It's crazy. Like,
And this is another common thing that happens, but just because you don't agree with what the family is doing or potentially doing does not mean you're on Dre's side. You don't have to have a side in
to give
this.
it to kids. And Justin, am I wrong? Because when I was really researching this, I was positive that there were videos out there where the kids were taking K. Right, Justin? Don't the kids take the K? I'm gonna have to go back and watch all the videos now because I'm second guessing whether or not. Well, I didn't say that. I'm not gonna say that. But I was positive doing my research that they were taking passion flower and the K is what they were taking, the T's and stuff like that, the KT and stuff like that.
People have gone back and rewatched these videos time and time again, and certain people have changed their opinions that no, you never do see her give them K on camera. Others say yes, 100% she does. That's your opinion.
Things that me as a mother doesn't sit well with me. I thought it was unsafe. I thought it was unhealthy. The things going on with Vaughn, I just saw him kind of like more and more like losing any amount of control that he had. So I'm covering this and I've covered this because, like I said, I explained it earlier why I covered it. The kids are also another reason why I covered it. Anybody talking about me and what I got to say about this, I don't care. They can continue to talk. They can try to make their little coin off me, Molly, and Justin because that's exactly what that one YouTuber's doing. Look at his social blade.
Again, it falls back to drama between creators. Another person that's covering the story on the side that's questioning things with the fundraiser is obviously somebody she's had past drama with, so that discredits the information. It doesn't make sense though.
And that was interesting. Literally, just that small clip where she talks about why she turned the dad down. I don't know if I believe it. It doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, school is almost here. Um, her talking about the effects that this is having, how people's calling her house, or people's calling her, sending her messages. They're reaching out to her mom, her sister, posting pictures of her mom's house. I haven't heard all that. This is literally the first video that I've heard of her since all of this has really popped off, you know?
I wish some of these creators would go back and watch some of these videos over again and rewatch them and hear these things themselves, what they thought they heard before and what is actually being stated. Even interviews that they've sat in on, I think they would learn a lot more about what's going on in the situation. I think that they have obviously trusted a certain creator to fill them in on details of what's going on, and yet I really feel that that creator has done a very poor job of keeping these other creators informed on important details with this case. That falls back to doing your due diligence when researching a case, though, and understanding the subject and the topic you are discussing. So, again, I think it's a difference between Facebook and YouTube that doesn't happen as much. I think there's more of a competition of trying to get the information out first and on whose channel kind of thing. I also find it really interesting how one main creator has controlled this whole thing. Because now when I listen to LB even talk, I realize that she was fed most of her information from Molly Golightly. But even more importantly, by Justin of Justice for All. And Justin still is very confused on facts and details surrounding this case himself. So I'm not confused at all now why Ella has completely not had facts and proof for the story. Again, I'm not giving her a pass for spreading misinformation because it just shows that she didn't do her part in researching this case, but I don't know if she's used to doing this type of case with this fast movement and things unwinding, and or not many people are willing to stand up against Molly and say, "No, you're wrong. You're wrong." And this is why. But it's not only Molly that's wrong, it's been pretty much every creator that's been involved from the start in this case has fed us all misinformation and lies. I want to still believe that some of these creators got involved trying to tell this story and do this story justice for Marvon. Yet, I think because the story was initially based off of lies and misinformation, that got derailed somewhere. And because of the drama surrounding creators involved in this story, people have really had a hard time believing the facts in front of their faces. It's easier to pass it off that I am associated with or I am Katie than it is to believe the facts in front of the person. That's been obvious the entire time. And I'll offer it up one last time before I end this video. If you want to come to me and talk to me and find out that I'm not Katie, I will talk to you in my real voice. I've done it many times. I'm not Katie. Thank you all once again for watching another one of my videos. We will be back with part 5.2 coming up shortly. Have a great night, everyone.